Hey Stampers, Gaynor again. I got myself a new desktop. Woo! The marks in the corner is only to show that where I can stay in the stamping area, and not only that, it's non-stick, it's brilliant, nothing slides, even my stamp blocks are not shifting all over the place, so I'm not, because I'm forever knocking stuff off, so I thought I'd change that by doing this. This is the floor that's now in my new shower room. So right, there's gonna be a couple of cards tonight. One of them's just gonna be mega quick. I've already cut out all the pieces. I just wanted to show you what you can do with your extra bits. Scrap card, and also I'll be making, so this is the scrap card. This is literally chunks of designer series paper that I had left. I backed it on some black cardstock and then on some this beautiful craft card, and I will put a white center in there. So I'm using the two-tone Flora, as I think it's called, yes, Flora. I'm using it on both cards. These are little nail art gems that I bought a long time ago, and I just found them in my stash. And again, this thank you is from one of the card kits. Love that. So I've got all my pieces together. I've cut out some flowers. I've got this. I am going to be cutting an extra one. Where's that gone? Why do I put stuff down and then can't find it? I've just had it in my hand. That's because I've just put ribbon on top. So I'm going to cut another one out in Whisper White so I can stamp. And then I'm going to layer this one on top, so I've got a little bit of extra bounce. So that's going to be cut out. I've already cut some flowers out. Believe it or not, that is from a really old, and this leaf is from a really old stamp set called Stippled Blossom, which reminds me so much of this new stamp set, Two-Tone Flora. So if you can see, Stippled Blossom and their leaves, beautiful. And then we've got the new Two-Tone Flora and their leaves, absolutely beautiful. But I'm going to show, I've already done that for this card. So again, I've backed it on black. I'm going to add my flowers. I'm going to cut out a new sentiment. I'm going to stamp that, and this is on white folding. I would love to have this way, but it's wider than my card, unless we fancy attaching it on a slant. We could do that, would be nice. And then our flowers. But look, this is what this card is. It's literally just chunks of leftover designer series paper. Doesn't have to be straight, doesn't have to be perfect. It was just literally, I would have thrown, either cut them down into small strips, but some of them I couldn't. So I thought, just tack them all on, trim it all off, back it on some black cardstock, and again I've done a 10th fold, so you can have it this way and you can have it this way. So this is the bonus card we'll be making. So I'll put them all to one side, and I'll show you the card that we're going to make now. And again, this is using the Stippled Blossom. Beautiful ribbon. This is retired papers and vellum, but I'm going to show you how I did the flowers. I'm going to show you how I marked up my stamps so I can line them up every single time as well. The thank you is from the card kit. I just love that font, and I love the size of the thank you. Beautiful ribbon. This is retired, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and I literally just hooped it round and then tied a knot and just popped a little dimensional under there. And everything that you see here, where I've got a dot of glue to hold my vellum down, I've literally added a gemstone. So I've got gemstones here, I've got thicker ones, I've got black, I've got coloured ones, plain ones, coloured ones. These are like metallic coloured ones. I'll show them after anyway, but there. So the vellum is, I think it was Purple Posy, and these are from the glitter cards from a long time ago. So I'm basically just going to layer them up, but I'm not going to glue yet until I put my flowers on and my ribbon. Well, the ribbon will go on after, but so I know where to add the glue, where to add my sentiment, where I can add a strip for the ribbon, and then dots then to keep this side closed for the gem. So it'll be the last thing we put on. This is my card base, which is just a standard A4 cut in half, and I think I made it slightly smaller just so I got the smallest little white edge going all the way around, because I wanted the purple to stand out really. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. I've got my Whisper White for stamping on, so I've got one already cut out, and this is with the gorgeous grape. I didn't buy the dies, I only bought the stamp set, so I'm gonna fussy cut some of these beautiful leaves out, which is so simple. I mean, you want to buy the dies, you can. I think I might invest in them, but not yet. I'll see how often I use the stamp set first. I think that's what I'm going to do from now on. If I invest in a stamp set, and I've done it so many times in the past, run out and bought the dies to go with, used it once for a card and then never used it again. So I think if I invest in a stamp set that I know I'm going to use pretty often. I went out and bought the daisy one because I bought it as a bundle minus the gems, because I've got enough gems. And I'm going to show you that if you buy Nouveau drops, and if you're like me, you purchase the card kits. So look how simple those little leaves are to fussy cut out. So I got another piece there in case I want another one. I'll just get these bits. The only thing is, nothing comes up off this stuff now. And I'm trying to get it off. So I used fresh freesia on this one with the bubble gum, but this time I think I'm going to have the fresh freesia because I think that might be a little bit dark, and then these gorgeous outlines with the gorgeous grape. I just used full strength soft succulent, and this is for our sentiment, I think it is, because this is 1 inch by just over 3 inches, so that's my sentiment. So this is for my leaves. I will cut a couple more, but that's the soft succulent and that's the full strength. I do like this colour, and while I'm here and I've got the ink out, I might as well, oh, and I tell you what, this is cushioned lino, so there's no need for my mat to go underneath it. Woohoo! Love that. So let's get my cleansing cloth. My cleanse, you are clean, my child. So pop that to one side. This is from the Stippled Blossoms set, and again, if I wanted to take my time, I could come into each little bit of leaf. You know, this was an old wooden set I had this in, and I can't remember who sent it me or who I bought it off, and I think it might have been Stella. Do you remember Stella Morris? I think she said, I'm not sure, I'll have to check the box. In fact, I've got it here. Yeah, this is the Stippled Blossom, and it only had 2 flowers, whereas the two-tone Flora's got 4. So it's got a double leaf like those have, and it's got a little bud, but it's got lots of little tiny leaves as well. So they got 2-tone on the leaves, you've got 2-tone on the bud, and then 2-tone on the flowers. That's why. And did I see it says Stippled Blossom, but I can't remember who sent it me. And then we've got the 2-time Flora, and I have already practiced some of the fresh freesia in the bubble bath. This is Melon Mambo, Boho Blue, Kush Curry, and that's the bubble bath on its own. So you stamp off for the pale and then stamp off, leave it full strength for the outline. I've got myself a little mask that I've cut out of what's it called? Masking tape. Couldn't even think what it's called then, but I just thought I'd cut myself a few samples out. So let's test what this is going to be like, and I'll show you then how I've lined this up. So I'm going to start with the pail, and I see where the dots are. There's a little pattern in the stamp set, and I put a black dot on each one before I started stamping, and I find that I can line that up beautiful. You could use it without, but I'm one of these that needs a visual. So this is, oh, look at that. Maybe I'll have to ink this stamp up better. Let's try it. If not, I'll fetch my padding. Oh, better. So let's do another one of them, because I've already got a purple. And I'm going to be fussy cutting these out, because they're simple to fussy cut out. I've managed to fussy cut that one, so, and it looks okay. Oh, beautiful. So, you know me, girls, I never used to like the pink on my stamps, but when you look at it, you can't see it until you turn it over. Then you see the pink outline. Oh, so now we're going to come in with the gorgeous grape. And what I might do, I'll just practice on that one. Let's grab myself some scratch paper. I'm going to firstly stamp off. And I know I can't quite see those dots, but I'm just going to guess. Is that too dark? And I've stamped off as well. So let's do that. Let's stamp once. Twice. And now I can, if you look on those dots there, in the centre of the flower, my black dots will line up with them. So oh, that is absolutely gorgeous. Now I've stamped off twice, and this is the third one. Look how dark it is. First stamp off, second stamp off, third one is on that beautiful flower. And I'm just tapping. So stamp off lightly, stamp off again lightly, and then I'm going to line up those beautiful dots with that beautiful flower. Oh, beautiful. Now I'll show you the other way around, so let me do that now, because sometimes I prefer to do the outline first. So let's stamp. Let's do a full strength one like this one and show you. So do the darker first, which is really dark, and then come in with the light. My ink pad is off, that's it. And I'm going to stamp off and stamp off again, and then come in and I put, look, you get a much better flower doing the dark first, because that is slightly off. This one's not so bad, but I prefer to do it really lines up, because I can see how this one was off just a fraction. This one was okay. So let's do one more. In fact, let's do a couple of the small ones, and then we can decide which ones are going on our card. So we've done 4 of the large. Now let's get this beautiful, and again this one's got an arch on it like a crescent moon for the details. So let's pop that there. Beautiful and dark. So now we need, because I've got the shape, I know which way round my stamp set goes. That is really dark, so stamp off, and let's line that little archway up with that little archway. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful flowers. Let's give that a clean. And while we've got our cleaning cloth out, let me just grab my black ink, because that takes a while to dry. I'm going to keep an eye on my batteries, which is not doing too bad. I love this black ink. Oh, it's just, you can't beat it. So I'm going to keep it roughly towards the bottom and over to this side. That way, if I need to trim a little bit off, I can, but I'm going to have to give that 5 minutes to dry. And that's the Onyx Black Versifying ink. It's lovely. There's my other bit. I was just wondering where that was. So the cleaning cloth can go away. I can trim that a little bit more so it's not as big, even though it looks beautiful. Now we can just, I think I'm going to keep this one and these two. So I will not throw them. They'll go inside my case. And I will save them for another card. I must admit, since I've had the Stipple Blossoms card kit, stamp set, I must have used it 3 times in about 7 years. So this is why, another reason why I don't want to invest in the dies, just in case I only use it once or twice. But it's ideal, but that's my preference. If you want the dies, you go for it, but look how easy. As long as you turn your card, keep your scissors, just when you get to the end of your scissors, just pull them back and let your other hand do the turning. You can practice, but it's so easy. And I'm just going to whip that bit off, because to see the bottom bit of that, I can cut that and save that for, I know I'm a tighty, a whitey tighty, but that will come for a sentiment. So I've got my little scraps bin for that, and I like to take off as much as I can, so I've got less to cut off. So let's trim that little bit on the edge. So yeah, I've got less to cut off and more finger space to work in. So literally follow. It's this hand that's doing the moving, not my scissors. I mean, you can try, but you'll never get it bang on. Always turn the paper. Look, how simple was that? So we got one more to go. Let's cut another one of these leaves, give that chance to. So I've got 4 leaves now with this one. I may need, I've got 3 leaves with the other card that we're going to knock up. But don't throw those little bits of scrap paper away. If you don't want to cut strips, block your card instead. Use blocks like I done. But I've been watching a lot of people with using the scraps, and they all tend to cut strips. And I'm like, why would you cut strips? So that can go in my case. Do not throw any of these bits away, because you can use them on future cards, and when you open it up, you'll be like really surprised. Woohoo, you'll say. I've already got some flowers, and don't worry if they're the wrong colours. Keep them in there until you decide to use that colour. And it's all practice for when you come to do your own fussy cutting as well. No shame in fussy cutting, because this malarkey with the crafting stuff can get really expensive. I used to thrive on it and think, oh, I've got to have everything, until I look back at some of my stash and wonder, why did I buy so much? Why have I not used it all? And why am I buying items that I'll never use? So this time round, I've been quite conservative, girls, and I've only bought what I know for a fact I'm going to use. So we've got our 3 flowers, we've got our leaves. Pop our rubbish away. Again, it's got plenty of battery life. So we're going to work on the vellum first. I'm going to try, let's see if that is dry now. I can still see a tiny little, right, so I'm going to be using this as a backing, so I'm just going to lay that just to block, and it's fine. So that is the back anyway. So let's trim this up a little bit, because I need to know where my sentiment is going. Oh, look at that, it wasn't an inch anyway, so it's just over an inch. Oh, perfect. And then I'm going to come in a tiny little tuck just there to keep my sentiment a little bit tighter. I have got some dimensionals which I can add. Get my little dish. Get my little dish. So you've got a plain side which is flat, and you've also got this knobbled side with these bumps. So I'm definitely going to make sure that that is there. And oh, do I add the ribbon now? Let's cut the length because I want to. So I'm just going to add enough for this paper and this beautiful, beautiful paper here. So I'm going to make sure I've got enough, and then I'm going to cut a decent piece for my knot. I know it's a little bit longer, but if I can get 2 knots out of it, all well and good. So now let's get some of these beautiful flowers popped up on some dimensionals. So the bottom one's going to be flat down. This one then is going to be popped up, and the little one I'm going to add a dimensional just to this side because I'm going to glue that side. The leaves I've added flat, so let's just, and that's a stipple blossom, let's add one lot of dimensionals just on one of the leaves, and then the rest we'll glue on flat. Let's whip off these just for a second. I've recorded so many videos up front that I've decided to do a couple of bonus for the girls to watch. And not only that, I've got so many other projects, and it'd be weeks and weeks before you see them. So right, I've got to leave a space. I'm just going to layer that there so I know where to add my flowers. In fact, I could even, let's get my double-sided tape. So I've got my sucker wand, and this is, doesn't matter which way round you've got this ribbon. So I'm only adding it in the center for a minute. Well, no, actually I can add some on the ends. I just don't take the backing off the other pieces until I've got it wrapped around the other card. So work on this, and I'm just going to flatten that tape down so it's easier for me to remove the backings. And I'm just going to take the middle section off, and I'm going to line it up. So the ends I haven't removed. So I'm going to roughly add that. Now I can peel that back and pull it off when it's on my gold card. So let's add some glue, because you're not going to see the back of this. So I'm going to I'm going to lift this up a little touch actually. And now my 2 other flowers. I'm going to just go over this ribbon, but I can still move the ribbon out if needs be. And then what I'm going to do with this beauty, I'm going to add that there and just add a little bit of glue there to attach it to my other flower. And I might just come down a fraction. Perfect. So this one is from the stipple blossom. just seen a bit of excess white I want to trim off. There we go. And I'm going to stick this one just here. I'm going to push in as far as I can and use that. And then I'm just going to glue the rest down and pop them. I'm going to have that. I didn't have one there, but I'm going to put one there. And because I know these are literally on dimensionals, I can slide my leaves underneath. That is so cute. And I might just slip another one in there. Oh, look at that. I can just tippy toe that one again over there. So the reason being, now when I flip this over, I can add glue all the way down there. I can add glue all the way behind my flowers and across my sentiment. How about the leaves? And then I can line this beautiful card. I'm going to have the paler at the top this time. And then I'm just going to give myself a tiny little border all the way around. And just press there. So I'm going to peel back my tape. And I'm just going to wrap that around both pieces, and it's again that's going to help secure that piece of ribbon. Again, just pull back the backing. Beautiful. And now if I wanted to, I could even pop, oh look at that, what I've done, silly sausage. So again, I come back, lift up that tape. Luckily it's on vellum. Let me just grab that piece, and I'm going to slide this bit of ribbon under there before. Oh, there we go. Once I've got it in place, I won't press yet until I've got my, let's get that end on there. Okay, I nearly made a boo-boo then, girls. So fingers crossed, I've got enough ribbon here to do 2 bows, or 2 knots even. And because I've already got tape underneath my ribbon, oh look at that, I might just trim that down a touch. Then I can pull this down and oh look at that. Oh, I'm definitely going to get another ribbon out of that, and not even. So that's the only waste. I know it seems strange, but I'm going to give this a little burnish, and then I'm going to add that. See how this is peeling up? Watch what I do in a minute. So now we know we can get this glued down. We can add our glue everywhere, even on top of my ribbon. Make sure I've got the card the way I want it. Would be a left-handed card otherwise. So I've got a tiny little white border, top and bottom and all the way around. Oh, beautiful. Go in from behind, give that a smooshy down. That is gorgeous. Right, now got my little cup. Tell you what I could use on this one, because I use those little, they're like iridescent. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use my little Nuvo dots, and I'm just going to, where the stamens are, I'm just going to add little tiny black dots. So I know it's going to take a little bit to dry, but it looks, and then across here where the arch was, I'm literally just going to add a row of those black Nuvo dots, absolutely gorgeous. So I want one here, I want one here, maybe two, one there, two there, and one there. Now I'm going to wait for those to dry, and then where they're dry I'm going to go underneath with my little glue. In fact, you don't, well, you could, I would wait for them to dry. I was going to add some little gems, but right, let's pop that to one side whilst it's drying. We've got gems there and there and there. I like both, loving the purple, so let's pop that to one side. Where's Gaynor going? Let's get our ink pads out the way. Let's fetch in our die machine, and I've got new plates, so I have cut my white cardstock down to 2 1/4, was it? I cut the papers 2 3/4 by, she says, by 5, just so I don't waste much of the cardstock. So I've got my flowers, got my little, where I'm going to add my sentiment, and I'm going to show you those beautiful little flowers. It's nail art, and you get thousands of them for a few quid. Well, I did years ago anyway, so I think I might have just chopped the end off because I wasn't concentrating. I do like these little shapes. There we go. Perfect. Oh, and I managed to get that. So I'm going to put them with there. This is my little box. I found them, like I'm saying, they came, you get about 1,000. The packet's tiny, but you get about 1,000 in each one. So I opened 4 packets and put them in my box. So let's get our black stamp again. I love this thank you stamp, and again I'm adding it, and this time I'm going to add it towards the top. Let me just make sure I'm getting it in there. To the top right corner. Absolutely love that. Do you know when you find a stamp you really like for the sentiments, oh, and then you just can't help but use it and use it and use it. I've used this thank you stamp loads, but it's been worth it. So let's get some glue on our spare one, and I think I'm only using this for a bit of stability. I don't want to touch that because it won't be perfectly dry yet, but oh, that is beautiful. I'll grab a scrap piece of scratch paper, and I just want to lay this down gentle just whilst I rub the back of my card. Oh, beautiful. So this card is opening from the side. I've decided what I'm going to do with this one is have this at a slant, so it fits beautiful both sides. So I'm going to have some dimensionals. Let's have 4 on this one because it's got the stability at the back with the extra cardstock, and that was just some scrap paper out of my scraps bin. It's nothing major, it's not the best, it's the stuff I use to make my card bases. So I'm going to line that, and I'm not going to press until I know I've got it lined up down this end. And look at that, it fits the perfect width. Perfect. And now I'm just going to give it a light press. Beautiful. Now for my flowers, 2 of them. I'm going to use this one. So he's going to have 1 small dimensional. or 2 small dimensionals on the bottom and some glue on the top, because his backside bit, this is going to hang off the edge, so that's going to come on to there. Oh, and then I'm going to grab the leaves quickly before it dries permanent and just tuck them under that side so it still see my thank you. This one, then I'm going to add a dimensional on this end. Video up so you don't miss out. I just get so carried away. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe that is a little bit. Have another one there. So we've got our, where's my pin? There it is, stuck to my scissors. Love that fine tip. So I've got, because my pokey tool is being used for something else, it's got the brush on this time, so I'm just going to grab some of these tiny little silver ones. Some are upside down, but I'm just going to add the silver ones this time. I don't know, I do like the red ones as well, so let's add a red one. And we're going to leave these to dry before we run off any excess. Look at that, how pretty are those. Love it. And then I love this little dish. But yeah, go online, go literally type in nail art gems and they're pence. I think I paid about £1 each for each bag, and there's 1,000 in each one. And who would have thought nail art would come good for little gems for your cards? Isn't that cute? So again, you could dive in and grab some Nouveau drops. I'm just going to cheat on this one and use my black pen. So I'm just going to add dots where the dots are on the card. And this is the old Stipple Blossom one, so it's got a lot of dots on that one. And then where that, see this white arch? Where that white arch is, I'm literally just gonna dot, 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 just down the centres. And I think that card looks absolutely gorgeous. I haven't done it on this one, so six on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I used the same size flower on that one, but look how beautiful. This is a bonus card using up scraps. Let's fetch in our card now that we just made. Now I didn't touch them, I just. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you roughly. So where that little dot is, I'm literally just going to add a dot of glue, and then with my pin, and you can't really see it under this, you can and you can't, if you know what I mean. So just the tiniest little blob of glue, and then I'm just going to use my pin to get as close to that cardstock as possible without popping those Nouveau dots, but it will if you give it a chance to go off. It will hold the cardstock down. Look, woohoo! Love it. So 2 cards for the price of 1. This is my first one. Absolutely stunning. So I'm going to push them to one side, and then this is what I made using those bulky scraps. And that's the one we've just made together. Again, I know you didn't need to see me put all the scrap pieces on, but look how tiny that strip is there. But just fill up a piece of card, trim it down to size, add a beautiful black border, and you can have a tentfold card. You could have it opening this way like I did with this one. You could just do a normal A2 card, but I think, why would you waste those beautiful scraps when it produces absolutely gorgeous cards, just like those, using scraps. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Do come back on the next one and see what there is in the next offering. So thank you so much for watching. Love to you all, and God bless, and I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye.